Oh, how did I meet her? I did a 3-day no sleep cosplay. I worked on Wicked Lulu. It was my very first cosplay, so I wanted it to be good. So I made it from scratch, and I debuted it at AX 2014. And I made some new friends, and they introduced me to Lily. Ultimately, is how I met her. But then I like doing my own investigation. I was being told that I was going to hang out with her at a boba shop, so I wanted to impress, or I wanted to get to know her a little more. So I did some digging on the internet, all public info. I'm not like crazy or anything, guys. Come on. Anyways, I was browsing through her Twitter, and one of her recent tweets, she had tweeted that she wished she had pink hair like her persona, and I was like, wait. I was dabbling into hair dyeing at the time, like for fun, as a just a side hobby, and that's how I got talking, because I am really shy to start. Like I don't think I'm shy like because I'm nervous. I think I'm shy because I am analyzing. I have a very big fear, which is actually a vice of mine. I should try to be more myself, but it's really hard for me to, like I said, my past. But I have a habit of really wanting to please no matter what. I want to be liked at all times. So what I do is when I first meet people, I analyze first. I am hardcore analyzer. I want to make sure I like understand how they are as a person, so I don't mess up. I don't, step on anyone's toes. So I was kind of doing that with Lily, and yeah. But for me, in order to break that, if you talk about something I'm like super interested in, which was beauty, that's when I started talking to Storm, and I was like, I can do it. I know how to bleach hair. I know how to use bleach powder and developer, and I know how to use foil. Like, I know I can do it. And she was all like, huh? Because if you ask Lily the story, how or our first meeting, she'll be like, oh my god, Aria is so shy. And it's like, yeah, because I just didn't know like how to impress you. And then finally I brought up her tweet. I'm like, hey, so I saw you tweet that you wanted pink hair. Like, do you still want pink hair? And she was like, yeah. And that's when I was like, oh, and then I went crazy. I was like, oh my god, I can do it, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, whoa. That's what like kind of opened me. It always takes one thing. Same with Miyoung, because like I call Lily and Miyoung like my left and my right wing woman. Miyoung is the same way. So with Miyoung, we knew each other like we met because our ex-boyfriends were on the same League of Legends team, but we didn't talk right away. Like, I knew she exists. I knew she was there, and she would watch, her ex-boyfriend's games and stuff, and I would watch too, but we I didn't talk to her because I'm like I said, like when I first meet people, I'm analyzing. So I was always analyzing her, and I'm just like, she's very pretty, she's gorgeous, blah 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 blah. And then that's the first thing I noticed with Miyoung, is like how beautiful she is. I was like, oh my god, this girl is like a K-pop star. Like she looks K-pop, she's Korean herself, and like the way she carries herself is so cute and dainty and adorable. And I was like, huh, all I knew of her was like how cute she looked. And then eventually I saw her, I didn't know her personality very much, other than she's kind of shy. Actually, I remember the first time, or one of the earlier moments when I first knew of her, she ran away at some point. I think she got so overwhelmed. Yeah. It was at TwitchCon. I think she was at a dinner table sitting, and then I just remember her being really overwhelmed, and she kind of just left. And then I remember because her ex-boyfriend made a commotion about it, and I was just like, whoa, where is she? And then he's like, I don't know. And then she was just taking a walk, and then we found her later, but she wasn't my friend really at that time. So I didn't really want to pry or I didn't know what to think of it. I just kind of got that she was really shy. And then one day at the team house, I remember she came, or she was like in the kitchen, she was doing something. I'm like, what are you up to? And she was like, I'm making dinner. Would you like dinner? And I was like, what? And then she's like, yeah, do you want to join us for dinner? And I was like, okay. And then I was like, what's on the menu? And she said that she was making salmon nigiris, because that girl only eats salmon. She only eats salmon. It's like, it's so troll. But anyways, dude, yes, my impressions of Miyoung are like S tier, because like I said, okay, I'll explain more. But anyways, Miyoung, she was like, oh yeah, she was making salmon nigiris, and she made so many, and her technique, her rice was chewy, like the cuts were clean, and I was like, I'm in love. I was like, oh my gosh, you're an acts of service girl. Like, I remember that was like my immediate thought process, because like usually people I meet in the gaming industry, or like in the streamosphere, it's really hard to display acts of service as a love language, because you know, you're usually, I mean, would you count in, actually I feel like Celine would count in game like helping as acts of service. I feel like Celine could do that. Well, I'm not as intense with gaming, so I'm like a filthy casual, so I don't really feel much acts of services from friends over the internet as much. So immediately when I saw like that was the trait that Miyoung had, I was like, oh my god, like I need to know this girl. Like she does what I do, you know, because that's what I usually do at offline TV. I would like be the person to cook for everyone, or table set, or just like in general, like I was the acts of service friend. So I was like, wait, is there another one of me's? So I immediately like wanted to get to know her more. And then I remember the next morning, she was cooking again, and I'm like, what are you making this time? And she's like, sujebi. And I'm like, what's that? And she was telling me how it's a Korean soup where they pull apart pieces of dough and they roll it out really flat, and then they cook it, so it's like thick but thin doughy pieces. I don't know, either way, she asked me if I wanted to help her, and I'm like, or no, I asked her if I could help, and she's like, sure. And she showed me how to do it, and then I just remember being so impatient because I think I was hungry, so I was like hella trolling her, and that was like the start of our friendship. I was trolling her by like grabbing the entire piece of dough, and I'm like, I was threatening her. I was putting it over the pot. I was like, hey, I'm gonna drop it in, and she's like, no. Like, it was really, really funny and cute, and like, yeah, the rest was history. We saw each other all the time. Like, I saw her more than I saw anyone that time, because we were well, she had a job. I remember she was working at like some kind of office, doctor's office, school office, I don't remember. She was doing some kind of office job, and I was a very inconsistent streamer, like terrible. Like, I was a once a month streamer type of person. I was balling on a budget type of girl, and all that free time went to bumming it over with her boyfriend. That was me. Yep, I did that. Well, actually, not all the time, but for the most part, I spent a lot of time with my boyfriend at the time. And and she worked from home, so yeah, we just were always there at the team house, and we hung out a lot. I was there when she got her new dog. I was there, like, we just did a lot together. We would wake up and we would like go Starbucks run. Like, I can't believe that era just feels like so long ago, but it wasn't actually. Well, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, a key factor I remember, like a constant with Miyoung and me, is that I would always tell her to stream, and I feel like my words are just not good enough, but I would tell her to stream, and then I would threaten her by saying, dude, I steal your jokes, which I actually did. I mean, I tell her though, I tell her ahead of time. I'm like, by the way, like, this word, it's mine now. The way you say this word, it's mine now. Like I'll be like, come on, like try streaming, or you should stream more, because she always told me she was like kind of interested, but she wasn't sure. And then the few times she did try it, for some reason she's just really shy around me, or like with me. I don't know. I remember trying to play League with her on my stream. Like I was streaming, and this was like I think her first time being on my stream, or just being like playing in a game where I was streaming it, and she was so shy, like she couldn't talk. And I'm like, this isn't the real you, because like I know her every day, right? And her day to day, she's like super troll with me or super funny. And then I was like, what happening? So I think like back then when I like forced her a little too soon, or maybe the setting wasn't right, or I don't know. I definitely think our dynamic in person is better than our dynamic in game. But maybe it's because like I didn't give her like the right setup for it. You know, I kind of like a fish, you know, I kind of threw her in the ocean. I was like, sink or swim. So yeah, but you know, I'm like super proud of her, and she's like in such a good place now. I can tell like Leslie, Peter, and Danny are taking such good care of her. She's like the happiest I've ever seen her, and like I'll always like, a part of me will always be like, damn, like I wish I could have been that person to like make her feel, or like see her, like help her thrive. But like, you know, it's okay. Like I love our friendship. I love it a lot, and like I'm really grateful for her. She too like showed me a lot on how to be like just compassionate and like very empathetic. She's like super empathetic, and like her and Lily are very similar in terms of empathy and like understanding how the human heart works. Because for me, I tend to be a little bit more brash, and I do tilt to the logical side, like my own logic, if that makes sense. So not like I'm not always right. And actually more often than not I'm wrong. But I feel like those girls, they are both very feelsy, and they like help open me up. So I'm very grateful. Tom, thank you so much for continuing the sub. Thank you. Yeah, but you know, she always tells me like not to be silly. Whenever I tell her, I'm like, I wish I could have given you more. But no, she's always like, don't be silly. And she was always reassuring me, which is nice. Actually, that's like the thing in order to be my best friend, is you're probably going to be annoyingly amount of reassuring, because I feel like my closest friends, like the people I confide in, would be like Lily, Miyoung, Celine, and Jamie. And these four girls, I'm telling you, like if I look at our conversations, it's always them reassuring me. And I'm like, damn it, am I this pathetic? I tend to give off a really tough exterior, and I'm always coming. People always think that I'm like, oh, she's like cool girl, or she's like off in her own world girl, or she's like doing her own thing girl. But my closest friends know that I'm like the biggest baby. I'm the biggest baby. I can be really cool with some things, like for example, like maybe street smart stuff, or like in the kitchen, or just life survival tips, like random facts, or just in general. I spend all my time, instead of interacting and understanding humans, I instead work on skills. I'm a perfectionist in skills. So I'm handy. I'm a handy woman, but when it comes to like feelings and emotions, I'm actually kind of inept. So I'm very grateful for them.